Welcome.
Closer together. Okay, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
We have 3 people in the camera. It's okay. There's another one.
Stream, baby.
We welcome all fans of Derby.
It's true.
All fans of Derby.
Welcome. Good evening. I'm October Revolution.
I'm Rippy Longstocking.
And we are here to bring to you the Rose City Rollers Wheels of Justice playing the Montreal Roller Derby, new skids on the block.
Would you like to introduce some rosters?
I will. I will read Rose City for you. Number 00, Honor Roll. Number 10, OMG WTF. Number 13, Drone. Number 16, Beyond Thunderdame. Number 1979, Lurs Lemon. Number 210, Tenacity. Number 23, Gal of Frey. Number 247, Mia Palau. Number 28, Alicia Nisbet Smith. Number 340, Bonnie Thunders. Number 401, Tarantula. Number 48, Brute. Number 65, Simonis. Number 757, Morgan Levy. Number 77, Lauren Mulch.
And skating for Montreal, which will be wearing the green with pink accents, is number 008, Low Rider. Number 1017, Bigly Smalls. Number 123, Miracle Whips. 13, Chaz. 1773, Magnum Pay. Number 18, Badger. 19, Frishevak. I had them pronounce it for me.
Free?
Shavakadu.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to say that, and I apologize to our skaters because I had them pronounce it. 22, Rogue Runner. 289, Cheese Grater. 44, Paper Cut. 59, Kaio Kenzie. 66, Falcon Punch. 934, Why So Serious. 999, KT Kaboom. And 9999, Mange.
And it looks like we're started on the track. We have Lauren Much jamming against Miracle Whips in this, our first jam. If you remember, these two teams did meet at Champs, and Rose won 222 to 107.
Lead jammer picked up by Lauren Much.
And that's going to be the end of Jam 1. Looks like 1 up on the board for Lauren Much, 0 for Montreal. So a little bit of a slow start. Obviously a slow start, but it's always fun to have just 1 point.
Just 1 point.
1 point was scored. I love these first few jams. It's my favorite part of roller derby when two teams are filling each other out, figuring out what's new and different, who the new players are, how the floor is going to play.
Right.
It's my favorite part.
You can see them adjusting ever so slightly.
And we got Bonnie Thunders up against Falcon Punch. And Bonnie is looking for the outside, is able to get back around that last Montreal player and is lead for Portland. Falcon Punch out of the pack is now also scoring eligible. Going to force that call off. We'll see how many points Bonnie is able to get. This is the full 4, so we're at 5 on this jam. 0 for Montreal. 28 minutes left.
Okay, I'm going to correct myself since we have a little bit of a moment here. It's Frishevakadu.
You got it.
I got it
Frishevakadu.
because I had someone come and help me practice. And I love wonderful words. So this is not me complaining. This is me being excited about new words.
It's the best.
Badger taking on Brute.
We got Badger stuck in the back, getting the what for from number 28. It's going to be Alicia Nisbet Smith in the front. Brute able to take a jump over that last Montreal blocker, Traz, and his lead. Brute is now scoring eligible and working through the pack, pushing around the outside, and one last one to go. I can't quite read the number, but gonna add another 4 points.
It is. The camera work here is amazing at the Big O, but our seating position, we can't always see the entire track, and so we will do our best to make sure we're calling correctly and succinctly.
That's 6 points on that jam for Rose. Going to bring them to 11. Still 0 for Montreal. 3 minutes off the clock, which means there's 27 minutes and a half remaining on the clock. So far, Rose has scored in every jam we've had.
lining up at the Eugene Weekly Jammer line. That's 22 Rogue Runner facing off against Beyond Thunder Dame, number 16.
And Beyond Thunder Dame able to break past the front of the wall is lead. It's another lead for Rose. Going to be perfect streak for them so far.
Oh, nice move around the outside there. Thunder Dame picking up 4 points.
Real hard work for Rogue Runner, who is holding the helmet cover as far as I can tell.
Thunder Dame puts another 4 on the board. 8 so far.
Looks like the new jammer is Monge. There's been a star pass. You can tell because all of the refs were simultaneously tapping their head. This is camera angle. You couldn't see them past the helmet cover.
Right, exactly.
But all the refs went tap, 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 tap.
And we know
Yes.
what's happening there. Maj just kind of stuck there in that tripod, which is finally drives her out of bounds.
Yeah, Monge has the stripe on her helmet for the pivot. She hasn't yet put on the jammer cap, but she's got it.
Yes.
Seems like
Was
Rose
a
is
successful pass. Yeah.
pretty sure to know that. 12 points so far on the board for Rose, able to get around Free Shavakadu
There you go.
there at the end, and 16 total for Beyond Thunder Dame.
Maj is out of the pack now.
Yeah, I
eligible
saw
for
her
points.
sneak out.
And that jam is called, but 20 points on the board for Thunder Dame and Rose.
20 points is a huge
Yes.
accomplishment nowadays
Yes,
with these
it
4-point passes. So that's 5 passes instead of 4, if I can math right.
You can math.
That's a lot of scoring passes in one. Makes the score 31 for Rose, 0 for Montreal.
At the Eugene Weekly Jammer line. Wow, just exploding up the outside is Lauren Much.
Back on the track front after the first jam. 5 jams in a row lead for Rose. They've been dominant so far in this first 6 minutes of the game.
Now you can see that Kayo has the star in the hand, trying to get it through to the pivot. A big blob of bodies makes it difficult to pass off the star.
Yeah, a big problem that the News kids are having right now is staying together. You saw in one of the earlier shots where Much just kind of broke straight through the middle of their 2-wall without really much resistance or problem. That's an issue for them. That's how you end up getting 6 scoring passes, or this one is 3 scoring passes in one, is that, you know, they aren't able to slow down or hold back these Rose jammers, and so Rose is just able to kind of pile on the points, and at the same time Rose has been able to hold their walls together, so Montreal hasn't had a lot of luck.
The Miracle Whip's taking on Bonnie Thunders.
Miracle was being driven to the outside 3 times, but did not get pushed off the track. Bonnie Thunders also breaks free. She's able to get around on the outside while Miracle Whips was fighting. Both of them are free, but Bonnie is lead. It's a foot race now, and you don't want to be in a foot race with Bonnie Thunders. They both hit the pack within a second of each other. Bonnie calls that one off and gets 2.
So make sure that you use the hashtag BigO2019 in all your tournament posts this weekend, whether you're following along, responding. Make sure you tag us so we can read all of your comments.
We also love to see your snacks.
We do. And you know what else? Your pets. Pets,
Definitely.
Pets.
I want to see your pets. I want to see your snacks. I want you to say nice things to me.
So Brute taking on Badger. Badger up the outside is not lead because Brute actually went out of bounds there, and so. But Badger is in a position to put points on the board for Montreal, and that would be good news for Montreal.
Brute is lead, decides not to call it. Badger, remember, is scoring eligible, but is stuck on this first scoring pass.
And now a track cut will be assessed for Brute, and that means the lead has been rescinded.
So we're going to have a 2-minute jam here. Badger able to score as many points as she can in the remaining of this jam, the remainder of this jam.
Yes, very nice. Just under a minute left in this jam. Badger trying to put points on the board for Montreal.
It's highly likely she will put at least one because she's been back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
But that is a crucial thing mentally for your team to just get their points on the board to sort of build your momentum and go, okay, yes, this is something we can do.
Yeah, it looks like Badger seems to be getting frustrated.
Yes.
Turning and talking to the ref during that last recycle. Fighting here. Montreal keeping themselves together and holding back Brute in the front. Brute also on her first scoring pass because she went to the box in her first scoring pass as well. So they're both holding points on the same pass.
So just hit after hit from Alicia Nesbitt-Smith on Badger. Badger able to put four on the board, so that is some points for Montreal.
It's going to make the score 48-4 with 19 minutes and 45 seconds left in this jam. So far, Rose is on track to beat Montreal better than last time. So last time they were about, double the amount of points, and this is a lot more than double the amount of points on the board so far.
Yes.
So if Montreal wants to keep the differential somewhat the same, they're going to need to make some major adjustments here.
Yeah.
Looks like another power jam for Montreal. Rose's jammer is headed to the penalty box.
It's like a low block assessed. So again, lead rescinded. We will go the full 2 minutes here. And 4 points on the board for Falcon Punch. Another 4 for Falcon Punch.
Great work by Falcon Punch here, being able to maximize on this power jam. And finally, Montreal having some luck getting through Rose using their offense. And then here's some passive offense. Yep.
Yeah. So Munch is out of the box now, also putting points on the board. Just 43 seconds left on the jam timer. Not everybody getting held up by the defense.
That is 1773 Magnum Pi headed to the penalty box.
And that'll be a big space left on the defensive team of Montreal. Munch through 4-4.
Great work by the New Skids there, making sure that Munch got knocked out. The first hit didn't do it, but the second hit did. That's what you really need to do, especially playing a team the caliber of Rose is, not only hitting someone to the line, but making sure they go over it. And stalemate.
So, it's 10-10. But Montreal was able to capitalize a little bit on that power jam. Pick up a few points. Settle in a little bit.
Even when you trade points like this and you go 10-10, putting points on every point you score is good for you in ranking, so you want to score points rather than have it be 0-0.
Right. So there's Lemon wearing the star for Rose. Rogue Runner with the star for Montreal. Where's Lemon? out as lead jammer. Coming into that pack really strong. Ooh.
Getting caught up in turn 1.
And is assessed a track cut. Again, this jam will be a power jam that goes the full 2 minutes.
That's 3 in a row for Rose. They're really having a jammer penalty issue right now.
Yes.
Given,
it's been different jammers.
Yeah. So it makes you wonder, is this a Rose problem or is this a Montreal strategy?
Right.
Draw the cuts. And it's been harder to draw cuts since the cut rule has changed, but not impossible.
Right.
And it's kind of a good strategy with a
Oh,
team like Rose.
Nice job of Montreal just opening up that pack.
They're able to stay together up at the front with this Braze 3 wall, stopping Lures Lemon. This is what Montreal's been trying to put together since the beginning of this game, and they're having a little bit more luck now.
Oh. Rose sets up the tripod. Rogue not having a lot of luck with that tripod. Gets a hip check there and pops out of bounds.
That tripod in the back is on a roll. Tenacity and Alicia Nisbet
doing a great job of just right when the jammer thinks they're getting through the pack. No. No, they are not.
And Trask there for Montreal is doing some great offense, able to break up the tripod right at the right minute, help Montreal pick up 8 to Rose's 4. So that's 4 in the differential, and it looks like we're going into an official review.
We will get information on the official review as quickly as we can. But while we're waiting on this, I can tell you about Rydell. Experience the game-changing Solaris. The performance you demand, the comfort you've been missing.
Every time I read this, I'm like, but how comfortable are Solaris skates? They sound very, they have the word air in them.
They could be very airy.
Yes, they sound like they have air and sun in them as words.
And angel's breath.
Yes, these all sound like amazing things that I want on my feet.
Also, Hit This Derby gear is everything you need to get rolling, from skates to protective gear and unmatched service for all your derby needs. Before you hit the track, hit this.
And here we're going to hear.
Montreal's official review is requesting a challenge of a no leg block call on the top of the turn. Officials rule review.
That is Don Scorleone, the head referee of this game.
I really appreciate the setup here of having the mic directly from them. Sometimes I know that they're not as comfortable with the microphone, but I really, really appreciate them doing that because no one can explain it better than your skating officials.
It's true. And it's also great because there isn't, we don't have to play telephone.
Right.
And someone tells the referee, then who comes up and tells us, and then, we have it third hand. This you get it right from down there, and you get to hear what's going on before they make the ruling. So we get to discuss it if we want to. Although I didn't see from the right angle what we're talking about, so I have.
They're talking about the exact opposite space of the room. Well, we're gonna have a dance party, and I approve.
I have no wild speculation about this one.
I mean, this one was absolutely on. It couldn't be further away from us. This and it actually was a no call. They were challenging the no call. So,
yes. It looks like they're doing video reviews. So some of the games, definitely. Mm-hmm. So some of the games this weekend, it looks like this one's included. They're doing a video review. They're trying video review. So there's a tablet in there. And
that's why they're all leaning sort of
over the blue tablet.
Yeah. Taking a look at the video.
See, and sometimes the video can help and sometimes it can't help depending on the angle of the camera and where the action happened and who was standing in front or not in front of it.
Right.
So,
and looks like just on bottom of your screen you get to see Miracle Whip's serenade. She just moved
yes.
out, but she was singing to the crowd there.
So I think so far what we've been seeing is, Rose came out strong and fast. And they were able to really rack up some points in that period of time. I think Montreal is adjusting. They've gained on the differential in the last 4 jams, 3 of which were power jams for them, which, you always love it as a team if you're getting power jams. They've also been able to kind of coalesce themselves together and bring Rose's jammers over the line to recycle. I think I said earlier that they, the score the last time they played was 222 to 107, so about just a little over double. And we're getting to be about there. We're almost at 64 to 25.
So we're watching the officials explain to our captains and coaches the outcome of this, and we will hear from them shortly.
Upon review, the officials and the video review cannot confirm if there was enough impact from an initiator in this instance. Montreal will not retain the review. The non-call will stand.
I like the language there. Cannot confirm.
Really?
So yeah, we're watching the video. We can't really see the action on the track much other than the video, and I wasn't able to see. So that says that in the video review they weren't able to see, and it's particularly hard in a non-call because the first time you saw it, you decided that there wasn't impact here. I don't need to remember it. And then 2 minutes later, someone says, "Hey, did you see that? Was there impact there?"
Right.
So I like the choice of words.
I do. I like the choice of words.
Miracle
Whips barreling through, but Bonnie Thunder's trying to run a little defense too. It is Miracle Whips with lead.
Miracle Whips decides to go for it here. And so far, good choice. Bonnie getting recycled.
But so is Miracle Whips.
I think if you decide though you're gonna take one pass to see what happens.
Oh,
that's smart. Let's see what happens though now. Now they
4
both
and
have
4.
4.
I know,
Bonnie's ahead. Montreal's in the back. Miracle Whips. They decided early they're gonna run these jams, or at least this jam. They're gonna run this jam. This is exciting. This is exciting and fun.
So Montreal hanging on to Bonnie Thunders at the front.
Great work. Good teamwork here.
Rose hanging on to Miracle Whips at the back. I mean, whereas Montreal's defense is mobile, is moving across the track. So if you look back at Rose, it's just a solid wall.
So these two in the front here kind of doing the 3 blockers, then 2 blockers, then 1 blocker. The 2 very much in the front. That was Fresh Shavakadu. And
they all swing back here to help out Miracle Whips. Miracle Whips is through 4 apiece again.
It's 8-4 right now. The Miracle Whips puts up another 4, so it's 8-8 on this jam. It looks like Miracle Whips decided to run it all the way because we've got 18 seconds left in the jam. Be interesting to see if this is Montreal's strategy throughout the entire game, right? Because it helps your rankings to get more points if they decide they'd rather score, even if it's point for point, than try and chip away. People will have a lot to say about that, right? Some people will think it's great, good way to play rankings, and some people will think it's a way to kind of give up on your game before you began. So I'm interested to see. Although they did gain on the differential here. Oh, nope. They lost on it. 12 to 10.
Right.
So 76 to 35. So they're keeping it at about that, half of. I'm interested. I'm interested now.
Yes. As if you weren't interested before.
I mean, obviously, I'm always interested. But that was exciting and fun.
Brute back on the Eugene Weekly Jammer line.
Kyle Kenzie from Montreal.
I hesitate to say this, but I'm going to. To hit this penalty box is empty.
It's been empty. It's been very empty.
It has been empty so far this half.
Well, other than the jammers.
Yeah, the few jammers. We saw the 3 in a row there for Rose, but overall, it's a bench. This situation here is a bench, and so it's been relatively empty.
Oh, there we go. Direction of play penalty call.
And of course, that is what happens.
I know. That is number 289 for Montreal, Cheese Grater, taking a seat on a direction of play penalty.
Cheese Grater, I do believe it is the second time Cheese Grater has been to the box.
And there's another whistle.
Now, there has been a star pass on the track. The jammer, a record for Montreal, is Traz.
Traz is out and scoring eligible. Brute still has a lead and is up 8 points on this jam. And that's going to bring a call off for us. 12 points total for Rose, brings the score 88-35. We're just under 11 minutes left in the half.
So jam 11, we're heading into jam 12. The strategy of running along might mean, well, it will mean that they have fewer jams.
Yeah, well, we've had, 3 2-minute jams just for penalties.
Right, just for
one
penalties.
2-minute jam. That's Lauren Much exploded out of the scrum. Falcon Punch then was like, oh,
yes.
I'll go there too.
Yes, there's a lane. I will take it also.
And then Lauren Much found that lane again, jumped through, called it off, picked up 2, it looks like. So it's going to be 90-35. 10 minutes left in this half.
Very fast, that explosion, that ability to just reach down and explode. That's the best way you can play. That's the best way you can play.
Have you ever been on the Incredible Hulk roller coaster at Universal Studios Island of Adventure? They shoot you out of the tube. That's what it
That's
makes
exactly what it's like.
Yes. This is Beyond Thunder Dame for Rose, jamming up against Badger from Montreal. This is 2 jammers trying to roll around the outside of those braced 2-wall tripod things.
Working back and forth, but so far the defenses of both teams have been able to hang on. And as soon as I say that, Thunder Dame out as lead jammer for Rose.
Looks like Montreal's coming back to try and help their jammer out, but Thunder Dame is back, so the 3-on-3 reforms. There's such a small window there.
Yeah. So Badger's got the star in hand. But of course the defense is busy hanging on to Thunder Dame.
Oh, Badger was able to kind of outrun the back jammer and get around, but got knocked out and held. So still behind that Rose brace 2-wall, although if you look, that pivot's in the front of them. But no, pass didn't complete.
Thunder Dame takes a little spill there. Montreal gets back in front, but
yeah, Thunder Dame was able to get out, though. Only 1 scoring pass so far, 4 points. We've been 1:30 into this jam, so Montreal's doing a good job of slowing down this jammer.
Right.
But they're still putting points on the differential, Rose.
And it looks like, I think that was Badger that knocked Thunder Dame out of bounds, and so we're doing gonna skate you back.
We're just ticking time now. Because Thunder Dame's like, no, I'm not coming back.
Yeah, I know, right?
Badger's like, well, I'm not skating backwards forever, and that's the end of that jam.
So this jam will eventually run out, and Thunder Dame was like, well, I picked up some points for my team, and or imagine. When you put words in your head.
But that was, I mean, we have a 2-minute jam. Rose only scored 4 points.
Right.
I'm going to say if you are the blockers for Montreal, you're going back to your bench like, I am awesome.
I did my job today.
Yeah, because that is lead jammer awarded to Bonnie Thunders, who's able to kind of sneak around the outside, though at the same moment, Rogue Runner kind of ran through that inside line.
Bonnie Thunders coming in hot to the pack. Gets through, picks up 3, and calls off the jam.
I mean, the last game Rose played before this game, They played Victoria in the championship game of champs, and it was 144 to 121. So they beat Victoria at champs. That was their last. Their last time on the track anywhere. It was in New Orleans. Well, I mean, obviously they played other times. Their last sanctioned game
Yes.
was in New Orleans. And so, you know, that's a
So
kneecap.
yeah, it looks like a gasket, kneecap or gasket.
Yeah, like the it looks like the cap up from a knee pad. I don't know whose it is, but
It's some equipment. Let's say that.
yes. We have equipment on the track. Brute is jamming up against Miracle Whips.
Miracle Whip's looking for to break open a seam, just can't get it to break. Super don't want anyone to skate over that knee.
Miracle Whips
Cap.
is lead for Montreal.
Montreal,
Tarantula
very happy about that.
Holding her all the way to the line, but not over it. And a try and a jump there.
Wow.
And that was Alicia Nisbet Smith who hit her, but it's going to take a penalty for that hit. So it was able to slow Miracle Whips down, but it was no, you know, have to sit the 30 seconds for it. Brute breaking free now is also scoring eligible, so all of the jammers can make points happen. Miracle Whip's deciding to call this one off. Looks visibly annoyed by something, and is going to pick up 2 on that jam. So
He's like, okay,
37 to 97. It's a 60-point game.
So Kaio Kinsey is facing off against Lauren Munch. Lauren Munch quickly picking up lead jammer.
Kyle Kenzie, though, not letting up, was kind of footwork dancing against the Rose Pivot, Gallifrey, and Drone.
Oh, nice hit there. Trying to break it up. That defense is just so solid. The wall.
Yeah, Laura Munch is kind of wedged into that Brace 3 wall, is able to break it apart to get those hard-earned 4 points over the century mark for Rose now 101.
Very much into the pack. Strong, just, that's what I call frenetic energy, just bumping up against people, but Montreal manages to hang on. And
looks like Montreal is going to lose a block, or 2 blockers.
2 blockers.
So Laura Munch can get free, because from that, all 4 blockers were on her, and then 2 of them were gone.
So it makes quick work of the remaining 2 blockers.
Yeah, so now all Rose has to do is split those 2 blockers up to score, and they have their full complement of 4. Although it looks like Kaio Kenzie is out.
Is out.
So also scoring eligible. That'll stem the bleeding a little bit. We'll see with the final point. Yep, 16 for Laura Munch, 113 to 37 now.
Only about 3 minutes left of this half. It's been really fun to watch, even though, you know, the jams have been running long and we've watched people only make 1 or 2 passes. It's been really difficult to get through the defense, but I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
It's been an exciting derby.
I kind of think that's where the sport is going, and the scores are coming down lower before we even took the 5th point away, and now they're going to kind of get even lower still, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because you've got some of the best blocking we've ever seen in this sport happening right now. That is Falcon Punch. Out first is lead jammer. It's the kind of momentum you want going into the half.
No!
Oh, not that momentum.
Oh, no.
That's what I get for opening my mouth.
Wanted to give a shout out to Traz, who was really helping Falcon Punch to get through there. Falcon Punch may not have made it through without that. Now, Thunderdame is out of the pack, not declared lead. maybe the whistle was blown for lead for Falcon Punch before the track cut.
Yes.
Maybe momentarily there. Okay. So
Yeah, this is going to be a 2-minute jam. And there's
again.
So there's 57 in the jam, 141. So we have at least one jam left in this game, I think.
And this is the 4th time a jammer has picked up lead and gone to the penalty box. Different teams, but 4th time, and managed to.
Yeah, it makes quick work of this half, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Feels like we 17 jams. Feels like we just started.
Yes, I know.
4 points to 4 points, so we're trading points at this part.
As we mentioned earlier, the longer jams, fewer number of jams.
Right
That
now,
is how maths works.
it's true. It's very true. Right now, Montreal has got the pack advantage, so Falcon Punch is able to skate by pretty quickly. That is Traz breaking up the 2-wall that Rose has left to give a little bit more space to Montreal's jammer. 12 on that jam, 8 for Montreal, 10 for Rose, 12 for Montreal. So 123 to 49, and we have enough time to start another jam without a timeout.
Okay, so we got a little clarification there, 11 to 12. Is how it settled out after all the clarifications. Looks like we'll get another jam off here. Badger taking on Bonnie Thunders off the Eugene Weekly Jammer line.
Bonnie Thunder's able to get out of a pileup to get lead. Badger ends up back behind Rose's blockers. Call cut. So Badger thought it was no pass, no penalty. Thought that the blocker had stepped out of bounds, but I think a different blocker skated back in the interim.
Yeah.
So she lost track of one of those Rose blockers and picked up that track cut. So the one who hit her did step out. I didn't see the number, but there was another one that skated back. And yeah, so it's going to be a power jam for Bonnie Thunders right here to end the half.
So Bonnie Thunders with control of the track. On full lead. We'll see what the strategy is here.
Yeah, I think what Montreal needs to do a little bit more of with these jammers is when they're down to 1 or 2 blockers versus 1, instead of trying, coming like back first to try and tap them over the line. They need to get in front like that. That's exactly what they need to do. So that was Free Shavakadu demonstrating exactly what I was talking about as I was talking about it.
That's handy.
Thank you.
That is very handy. So we are at intermission.
We are. It's 13 more points for Rose, so we're at 137 to 49.
We are going to take a short break, stretch your legs, refresh your snacks. We will do some work on checking out penalties and some other information so we can fill you in when we come back from this intermission.
Great. Hello and welcome back.
Welcome back to this game. We did a little research over the break and checked out some penalties, and the story with the penalties is that even though we did have the jammer penalties, 4, they were dispersed evenly amongst the jammers, and the penalties have been dispersed evenly amongst all the players as well. Rose comes into this half with 12 penalties across the team, and Montreal with 10. So they're very even, and it's only 1 or 2 players have 2, and so it's really just individuals heading to the box.
Okay, here are your penalties.
There we go.
I mean,
I say it, and it happens on the screen.
it appears.
There you
I
go.
think the only notable thing about it is a couple of times, a lot of blockers were in the box at the same time.
Right.
So that's been able to help the teams out. There's one time I just remember where there was only 2 Rose players on the track.
Right.
Other than the jammer, and so that's super helpful for Montreal, right? Because you only have a 2-wall to break through and no brace. But otherwise, the score is 137 to 49.
Well, that was magical. We just said penalties, and they
And it just
happened.
appeared, yeah.
So
The
thank you, production team.
Yeah, because the production team here is
are on
fantastic.
point.
They're
Yes.
listening to us. Speaking of production and this game, something interesting for those of you just joining us is we have video review.
Yeah.
So if there's an official
So
review, the
if you-
officials can literally review a video of it. It's
You might have heard us talking about it, the official review in the first half of. They were using the video review to review a no call, and so I think that's a little more difficult to try to build evidence for.
well, and it 100% matters where the cameras are and stuff. You know, we don't have
Absolutely,
like
absolutely.
50 cameras here. There's only a
Right.
few, so sometimes it just happens to not be 100% visible. And
Right. We're heading into the second half of this contest between Rose and Montreal.
It's going to be Lauren Much jamming against Falcon Punch. Falcon Punch able to find the line very quickly and get out is now lead. Lauren Much looking to break free and be scoring eligible, gets to do that. So everybody is. Looks like I saw one Montreal blocker leaving the track for a penalty. Didn't see what the penalty was or the number on the jersey. Lauren Much gets through right away. Falcon Punch out behind. They're 4 apiece, and doesn't look like we're going to see a call-off, so
Yeah,
we're
this
going
may-
long.
This may be a strategy. Now, one of the strategies, I'm always very nice low move there to the outside. One of the strategies I'm always really interested in is what happens during halftime and how that conversation goes and what teams talk about. So I'm very interested to see how things shift after that halftime conversation.
Yeah, absolutely, especially because you have enough bench depth now for someone to be keeping stats and paying attention, but not necessarily enough time during the first half to action on those that stats if you have them. Looks like Falcon Punch decides to call that one. Going to be 11 to 11. Oh, 11 to 12. So they get one on the differential,
There we go.
61 to 148.
So it is really, for those of you watching the stream, we have 2 beautiful screens in front of us, which also makes it a little difficult to see the penalty box from where we are. But we will tell you the penalties as we get that information.
I'm very short. I can't see anything other than these screens. Lead now is Bonnie Thunders for Rose. Jamming for Montreal is Badger, who is now pushing back and forth against this braced 3-wall from Rose City. Able to get back around OMG WTF at the end there and break free.
So that is Chaz in the penalty box, gets released right at the very end, so there will be the full complement of skaters out there for both teams.
Yep, forward penalty box timers. That's what I see. Scores 152 to 61, 27 and a half minutes left in this game.
Jostling at the Eugene Weekly Jammer line.
That is Brute lining up against Miracle Whips. Brute able to get by and get lead. Miracle Whips, of course, hot on the trail. Brute deciding to call that off as quickly as possible to hold Miracle Whips to 0 is able to do so.
That is unique in this particular contest.
It's true. 2 points.
Very unique so far. That is. Well, first I can remember, it doesn't mean it didn't happen at all.
Yeah.
But it does mean that it hasn't happened in a while.
2 points went to Rose there.
Thunderdame taking the star for Rose, and that's Rogue Runner taking the star for Montreal. Oh, just locked down.
Yeah, some beautiful work by Simonis and Drone and whoever the front brace is, whom I cannot see their numbers. This is my daily plea for all of you out there in the roller derby world to put numbers on the front of your jerseys, please. You skate backwards.
And also, just make them a little bigger. That would be really fabulous if we're making wishes. I
And
mean,
spaced
come on,
apart
Elsa.
and very contrasted
and
colors.
like font that's really nice without with sans serif. font.
Anyway, Rogue Runner's lead decides to call that one off. I think we're going to have our very first 0-0 jam.
You are correct. See, fists being held up by both of our jam refs, and so we'll have a 0-0 jam.
And we're lined up one more time here. A little bit of jockeying on the line. Rose using it to break up Montreal and get together, and that gives Laura Much the avenue she needs to get lead.
Good blocker a piece and hit this penalty box. Kyo Kinsey.
Looks like there's 3 blockers on the track for Montreal.
Each. Yeah, each. And now we have Magnum Pay back out there to help with that tripod, but Lauren Much just able to find the seam, just a really
Montreal's really been having a hard time staying together, and when they can't stay together, as when you're seeing kind of those desperation, throwing their backs at the line, rolling blocks that just aren't jammers like Laura Much and Bonnie Thunders, they can repel those.
Yeah.
So they're not as effective as they might be against other teams. It doesn't even slow them down really. So you had 12 points on that jam. Rose got 166 and Montreal 61.
So
big recycle there for Montreal.
So again, a problem with a bigger recycle with a jammer like for Bonnie Thunders, for instance, is that they're able to pick up enough momentum and speed to do all of that, and they've stretched the pack back so far.
Yeah.
So that big, long recycle isn't always a great strategy to use. Sometimes it works very well, but
you definitely need to get back together very, very quickly and be able to put a lot of power into a hit or into a block so that her speed can't just break you apart.
Right. And her speed and her ability to change direction so quickly, if you spread the pack out and you're not able to, close it right back up, someone that fast that can change directions that quickly can just plow through.
Yeah. The challenge of that is you both need to be able to cover both lines, right?
Yeah.
Jump quickly from line to line and then take off. And also create a strong brace 3-wall enough that can wedge her in and slow her down. And it's hard to do both of those at the same time,
Yes, it is.
right?
I mean, of course.
We're talking quickly about a team that, came within 100 points of the number 1 ranked team, the WFTDA at Champs last year. It's not like, it's...
Right, we're not just talking about in our backyard derby.
This is like elite roller derby we're discussing right now.
So this is a team timeout. So this gives me an opportunity to tell you about Chicks and Bowls. Chicks and Bowls is online. Visit cibcrew.com and use sale code BIGOYEAH. That's YEAH for 10% off hardware such as slide blocks and wheels. Active until the end of the Big O weekend. So come Sunday evening, your opportunity to get that 10% off Chicks and Bowls will end. So jump online very quickly.
Do it. Take over your skate park.
Do it.
Score is 173-61. We have 22 and a half minutes where the clock stopped. We are coming to the end of that team timeout. That is the first clock stoppage Montreal has used.
So I love that we have a camera crew here that can pan out over the crowd and let you see how packed it is here at track number 1, watching this contest between Montreal and Rose.
Jimmy, now we have Brute up against Miracle Whips. Miracle Whips is able to pick up a lead for Montreal. They now have control of the scoring.
Miracle Whips coming back into that pack. Dancing around the outside. Does make it through for 4.
That was a Brute got beautifully recycled right there, and then was able to get through and is now scoring eligible. But I believe that was Kate. That was Monge who did that recycle earlier, and is doing it now. Monge is really doing a good lineup, really doing a good job of protecting the outside line, giving some time for Miracle Whips, who now is up 8 points. Although Brute is scoring eligible, so there's points sitting that she has not yet been awarded.
So both pivots are hanging out in the hit this penalty box.
4-8 on the differential there. Miracle Whips decides to call that one, 177-69 now.
So Unaroll was in the serving as pivot, was in the penalty box, but was released right at the very end of that jam. So Monge still in the penalty box as we start the next jam. Still seated in the penalty box.
So they're going to have Rogue Runner up against Beyond Thunder Dame. Beyond Thunder Dame able to break out pretty quickly. Although Rogue Runner doing a pirouette on the inside line, though that's going to earn her a track cut. This is a power jam for Rose City. Beyond Thunder Dame coming at quite some speed. Rose is broken up, 2 in the back, 1 in the front. The 2 in the back got broken in half, but they were able to send up Cheese Grater to slow down Beyond Thunder Dame. She picks up 4 more points. We're at 8 now on this jam.
So penalty box clear, except, of course, for Rogue Runner. Rogue Runner is standing and now released. Now that Tripod got a chance to set up there, hung on to Thunder Dame, but does knock Thunder Dame out of bounds and recycle all the way back to the far apex. Ooh, Rogue Runner trying to make a run up the middle, but that was Morgan Levy just putting a stop to it.
Nope.
You will not have this inside lane. Again, we're at this point where there's just a lot of stopping. Both defenses have set up. That is Simonis running a lot of interference there. Just
Morgan Levy, though, drew this penalty.
oh no.
It's another cut. She was able to knock Rogue Runner out of bounds. Rogue Runner didn't realize, step back in as Levy skated backwards, drawing another power jam for Rose coming into this next jam, into jam number 8. They put 12 on the board in the last power jam. It's a 189-69 now.
So power start for Lauren Much and Rose.
Interesting, gave some space there for Lauren Much to take off, although Montreal was able to get together at the front. I think it's interesting that Montreal's blockers, the word I want to use is scrappy. They block scrappy. Like, they get together when they need to get together, but they also, looks like they spend a lot of time on one-on-one blocking, and they can get, like, I don't know. You can see some one-on-one blocking happening inside the pack, and then somebody picks up the jammer, and sometimes it works really well for them. Whereas Rose is just like, we're going to make this very impenetrable braced wall. You will not pass it.
Right.
Do not even think about these lines. We have blocked them.
Now, that was Tarantula headed to the penalty box. I missed the actual call, but that is a presence in that defense that you were just speaking about, Tober, that will make a big difference.
Oh, yes.
Out there on the track. Lauren Much gets driven to the infield, waits, and calls it.
It was a beautiful apex jump that was too late.
It was really nice.
It was delightful. It was 6 points for Rose, 195-69. Rose now on track to beat their last score against Montreal. Remember the last time they played, it was 222-107, so a little bit over double. This is like a 1.5 factor. instead of a like 1. Never mind. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't math great. You know what I'm saying, though.
Yes. Now, Bonnie Thunders and Falcon Punch out there as the jammers for their teams. And Falcon Punch just kind of dives on the, or jumps on the the inside lane. I am having the word issue right now.
Falcon Punch has been having a lot of success tonight.
Mm-hmm. And a back block will be assessed to Falcon Punch. So this, again, the penalties, this story comes up over and over again. The penalties are not heavy in number, but they are critical penalties. We're seeing jammers spend a lot of time in the penalty box.
Or in the first half, Rose had jammers spending a lot of time in the penalty box. In the second half, it's Montreal losing jammers to the penalty box. And it always begs the question, right? Is this mistakes the jammers are making? Or is this strategy the other team is playing?
That the team has, can draw the cut.
I believe this is being...
Now, we do have an official review being called by Montreal.
We'll see what it's about. There would look like there was somebody who is, not completely injured. They weren't taken up on the EMTs. I don't believe this is a call for injury, but was on the ground at the end of that jam, and I speculating maybe this could have something to do with that, although I won't know until Don Scorleone lets us in on what's going on.
Yes. Now, they are not looking at the, and I spoke too soon. There comes the iPad out there. It just may be a discussion that they don't need a video review for, but we do have.
Well, normally they tell us what's going on before they.
Yes.
So I'm curious if maybe the refs had a conversation they wanted to have before they heard the review. So sometimes the officiating crew will review something themselves without being asked, and then they're asked for what the review, for what they're going to review, and then they'll also review that.
Yes.
So there's no limit to what the officials can review when the clock is stopped, and in fact, the officials themselves can stop the clock if they need to, although they didn't here.
And they absolutely, that is a good thing. They should be able to stop the clock.
Yeah, so it looks like they're having a conversation, and the iPad's coming into the huddle.
Yeah, there we go. So there may be. Okay, we're going to hear about it right now.
Yeah, I see the microphone's coming out. Here we go, Don Scorleone.
Montreal is looking to challenge the lack of a high block call on the green blocker at the end of the jam in that jam. Thank you.
Okay, so again, the video footage is coming out. It's be interesting to see what kind of feedback we get on this replay.
Yeah.
How this is working out.
So the video replay is just the feed that you were watching. So
yes, it's
like the dream you've always had, where the refs can go back and look at the exact thing you just saw and are screaming at.
Right.
So
it is. I'm just interested to see if this is going to be, if it's an actually helpful
tool,
piece of data that they can use to assess something, or if it's not very helpful at all because we don't have 50 cameras around the room.
And
you would need every single.
It's roller derby is different than a lot of other sports. Like for a cut, it might be very, very super useful. You can pause it and see is the skate on the wheel? Is the wheel on the tape? Is the wheel outside the tape? That's a really helpful review. But for a lot of roller derby, impact is really important. So you need so much to be in the angle. So if it's zoomed in too much, it's useless. If it's zoomed out too much and then you can't see the action, but you can see the impact, it's useless. Because what initiated the hit, what affected the hit, all of that.
Upon review, along with the video footage, we do not have enough information to change the high block call. The non-call will stand. Montreal will lose their official review.
Okay, so you heard it right there.
So I wonder if the review, when the video review is inconclusive, if that actually hurts your argument. Like maybe if the refs had a conversation about what they remembered
Right.
things could have gone differently than when looking at it and being like, well, actually, I can't tell what's happening here.
I mean, I think there are arguments both ways, right? Like, I think you could argue that video review gives us much more information, and you can argue that it could hurt you, as you just said.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit of a Luddite. I love the the human aspect of officiating,
Yes.
and that like your memory is part of the game. But also, I understand when people just want to like go to the tape. We're back at the action. Brute is jamming up against Badger. Nobody is lead quite yet, and we have half of this period remaining.
Oh, a little spin move on the inside for Brute. One blocker to beat. No, now two. They're going to have to drop someone to bridge if she moves forward anymore. And lead is declared.
Montreal, though, has been doing a wonderful job of that, like, you have 3 blockers, then you have 2 blockers and a bridge, then you have 1
Yes.
blocker and 2 bridges, and they've really been able to, like, slow down and stretch that out.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I almost want to do a, like, points per second analysis. Like, every second you make a jammer work for their point, it takes away their opportunity to score more points and also eats their energy. It's like when you're playing a video game and the little energy bar ticks down.
Yes. So we do have a blocker in the box for Rose. I think that's, yes. Alicia Nesbitt-Smith is the blocker.
We've got
Helpful that the standing helps when they stand up. But so Alicia Nesbitt-Smith was released right at the very end of that jam. I'm not sure you were able to see that on camera. So there will be all of the blockers.
score now is 200 to 72. 2 points on that jam for Rose. 13:36 left in this half. For those of you listening while you do other things. Jamming now, you have Miracle Whips up against Lures Lemon. Miracle Whips able to hop over the back of OMG WTF and pick up lead jammer for Montreal.
Oh, all kinds of hits there by Lures Lemon.
Rose sends OMG up to do offense while leaving their brace 2-wall in the back for Miracle Whips. They're able to recycle Miracle Whips twice now. You can see that happening in the back of your screen. In the front of your screen, you can see the New Skids blockers not letting Lures Lemon go anywhere.
Right.
I can't see who you are, blocker that's facing me in numbers in the back, but you're doing a very good job.
Right. I think Gallifrey, is that who is doing that work there?
Yes.
And we will pause the game for just a moment.
4 points to Montreal. Miracle Whip's slow to get up, but able to get up on her own accord, is headed back to the bench.
So again, we do have an exceptional medical staff here at the Big O.
I believe it's
And,
Harmony. Is that their name?
They do not have that in
doesn't
my
say
notes,
that. I
but
think it's
I
Harmony
believe it is
MTs.
Harmony MTs.
They're fantastic. They're always
really
here.
wonderful, doing a great job, and we know that our skaters in good hands. And I think there was maybe a penalty called there on Miracle Whips. So Montreal's jammer is in the penalty box. I think.
So
Can't
look,
quite see it, but I think Falcon Punch is serving this penalty.
yes, and I'm not 100% sure if that was called for injury, but it might be if Falcon Punch is in the penalty box. That would mean that we're not going to see Miracle Whips for 3 jams, this one included.
Yes, I do believe you're right there, Tober, because the official was going to call the penalty and then checked with Miracle Whips to say, can you get up on your own? And her answer was no.
Or much calling that jam. 2 points. Falcon Punch able to force that call off. Scores 206 to 76. So this is a 130 point game.
Kaio Kenzie facing off against Bonnie Thunders.
Bonnie Thunders has a swarm of green around her in turn 1. Kaio Kenzie behind that famed brace wall. All four blockers in the wall. Bonnie Thunders is going to get out.
The blockers, Montreal blockers are able to get in front of Bonnie Thunders, but Bonnie Thunders is just really good at keeping the wall moving, I should say.
Yeah.
And they're unable to lock that down.
And when you have Rose in the back locked down on the other jammer, you run out of space to play in the front.
I think that's Morgan Levy that just took a seat in the penalty box. Bonnie Thunders picking up 4 total for that jam.
Good job there by Montreal, slowing him down, breaking their jammer free, forcing that call off. 210 to 76.
Oh, yeah.
Just under 10 minutes left in this game. We have Brute jamming up against Rogue Runner.
So that is Traz also in the box, and that is a high block assessed for Brute. And Rogue Runner out of the pack picks up lead jammer.
This is a power jam. I know you just said that, but I'm saying
Doesn't
it
hurt
too.
to say it again.
It's exciting. We love power jams. I mean, they're fun for all people. Not really. Only me and the team that is happening for, but everyone else. It's 4 points for Rogue Runner so far. Great. Wow, great work on that inside line. Look at this.
Oh,
Man. That was Alicia Nisbet, who's headed the penalty box for that work, but every time I say your name and you get a penalty, you did something great beforehand. So
really,
huge jump. Rogue Runner unable to land it though, crawling back out. Although it looks like Brute headed back to the box?
Back to the box. So that was a forearm, I believe. And we'll start this next jam in the hit this penalty box.
I see Miracle Whip skating on the line, so that 3 jams ticked out.
Yeah.
8 points on the differential though for Montreal. That's big for them. They haven't done that in, I don't know if ever in this game if they put that many points up unopposed, and it's going to be 84 to 210. I mean, if I were Montreal right now, my goals would be not 1 point more than the last time we played them, and we need 20 more points.
Right. Yeah, I like those attainable, measurable goals.
Yes, I think those are attainable, measurable goals. Jimmy now and lead is Miracle Whips, and also looks like we have the pivot for Rose headed to the penalty box on that. That is going to be Gallifrey.
Alicia Nesbitt Smith out of the box now, ready to engage. Miracle Whips
Up against OMG in the front.
Getting a lot of trouble there.
Some legendary one-on-one blocking happening right there. That's why you know OMG's name.
Miracle Whips with 4 on the board so far.
Lots of whistles going on. Not quite sure what's happened in the penalty box. I can't see, but
OMG.
stuff probably. Things and stuff.
OMG in the box as well as.
Okay, Miracle Whips calls off that jam. We'll see another 8 unanswered points. Now it's 92 to 210. We're getting closer to my goal. So the last time they played, it was 222 to 107. We have 6.5 minutes left in this game. I want to see the score be exactly the same score. Yeah. That's what I want from life. I mean, arbitrary, ridiculous goals are my name.
Is that what Tober stands for?
I know. I'm going to get so excited as this happens. Everyone's going to be like, why are you so excited right now, Tober? I'm like, I want to see it happen.
So that was KT Kaboom that started out in the penalty box as a blocker for Montreal. I couldn't see the number until just now, so that's why I was alerting our audience. But now,
lead went to Falcon Punch with a lot of help by Monge, who then was headed to the box. There's 3 on 2 right now with a blocker advantage going to Montreal. Oh. Both jammers are in the fray. I believe they're both scoring eligible. Falcon Punch has had a lot of success tonight getting through this Rose defense, breaking them up, and basically like using their momentum to move around the outside of them. As you just saw there, it's working very well. 8 points now on the board for Falcon Punch. They're at 100. It's 214 for Rose. 4 more goes to them. It's going to be the end of that jam. 1 more point, I see. So it's 9 to 4, 101 to 214. My dreams might come true here. Although we have 5 minutes. I mean,
I know.
If
there are 5 minutes.
That little scoring in the next 5 minutes, then I mean, that'd be real fun to watch, but it's highly unlikely. But I'm excited.
I think everyone on the track would like it to be unlikely because.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that what Montreal wants to do is beat their last score, not exactly repeat their last score. It's Laura
But if they did that would be an attainable goal.
I think it is attainable here. Laura Munch jamming up against Badger. Badger taking a very hard hit from Gallifrey. Slow to get up, but does and recycles. That was a beautiful hit to the inside by Drone.
Now look at Montreal at the front. They are hanging on to Lauren Much right now. But a little interference from Morgan Levy breaks up that. But there we finally. Just that wall was exceptionally well held together.
Well, one of the great things that Montreal does is when their wall gets broken up, they're all scrappy. They're very good at one-on-one blocking. Right. So they're able to kind of hold the jammer back a little bit longer to reform around them, and that's how they held Lauren Much as long as they did, and also forced this call. Was that a 0-0 jam? Timeout now called by Montreal. Thank you for using your clock stoppages in the last 3.5 minutes of this game, Montreal. That makes me very happy. Oh, no, it's a 3-0, so it's 217 to 101. So in order for my dream to happen, 4 more points have to go to Rose and 6 more points has to go to Montreal. This is totally attainable. My bizarre dream that makes no sense is 100% attainable right now.
Then they just have to stop after that, right?
Yeah, no more. They all need to sit down and be like, we're done.
That'd be it. So there's our lovely crowd. You can see some of our camera crew out there doing the good work of this. A tournament with 3 tracks is really hard to put on. There are a lot of moving parts here. An army of volunteers just doing the work here, keeping the Big O going on. Send pictures of your pets enjoying the Big O from home. We love them. At hashtag Big O Cats and hashtag Big O Dogs. We love to see your furry fans.
I hear there's also.
You know what? There's a birds.
There's also a rats.
There's a rats, a birds. We'll take any animal. We don't care. Just show us your pets.
We have Miracle Whips up against Bonnie Thunders. Miracle Whips is out and is lead. Is very happy about that. I mean, this Rose team really just like beats on you with just like endless sadness and. but the new kids on the block just like are made of joy.
Yeah.
And so they did not succumb to the sadness. And before they have 4 points on this, Miracle Whips is back in the fray. Bonnie Thunder in the back. It looks like Bonnie Thunder got all 4.
That's a casual Apex jump. It's just casual.
Casual. We have
Just
2
like,
minutes
hey, cash.
and 55 left in this game. 105 to 221. So they traded 4 to 4 there.
Yeah.
I mean, not that long. Oh, excuse me. It's 107 to 221. We are now 1 point away from the last time these two teams played.
I don't think
No, they're gonna
that's
score more.
unlikely. Let's say.
I'm
It's
happy
not
that they'll
possible.
score more points. I
mean,
think that's good.
I'd like to see him score a few more points.
And this is a good indicator too of where these two teams are. So they're not too far off of where they were at champs.
Yes.
There was a little bit in the middle there where it looked like Rose might really blow this game apart more than the last time they played, but that hasn't come to fruition in the second half. Lead goes to Brutes.
Now, Falcon Punch, you mentioned earlier, has had some success against this Rose defense, but held on to Falcon Punch a lot longer that time.
It's going to be a call off. 1 point. Okay, this is exactly.
Uh-oh.
Everybody drink. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a minute and 40 left in this game, so there's no way this is the ending score. I mean, like, if this ends up being the ending score, I want everyone to, I don't know, play the lottery.
The WFTDA tournaments provide everyone who loves roller derby an opportunity to witness the most anticipated matchups of the year. Get all of the info at WFTDA.com/tournaments.
And lead goes to Lurs Lemon right off the bat. It's Miracle Whips fighting up against that Rose braced wall in the front. Montreal now stopping Lurs
wow.
Lemon in the back and saying, we are not points.
Munch trying to run interference there for Miracle Whips. Hit after hit, but I think that's a leash.
4 points now on the board for Rose. Miracle Whips able to able to recycle and end up back behind that wall again. Montreal getting dragged out, but able to recycle Lurs Lemon. Gives them another opportunity to slow her down.
Monge is recycling.
They had a
And that's
2-2
Miracle Whips,
situation.
yeah. Doing a little defense. Lurs Lemon. Ooh.
Holds on there. 8 now in this jam.
We are running strictly on jam timer clock now.
It's a cut. I don't know who it was called on.
So Miracle Whips back on the track now after that sit down. And there goes the whistle. So I think
And so 12 more points for Rose, so 234 to 107. So they get 12. They won by 12 more points than the last time these two teams played. I think that's inside the margin of error.
it is. It is.
Like, I don't know. I mean, I can't do the standings math in my head, but I would say it's pretty similar of a score to the last time. And Montreal looks pretty happy with that, considering coming back from the half, it did not look this good.
Do you know that RollerCon is your roller derby family reunion every summer?
I
Did you know that? And 11 and a half tracks. Get this where I can read it better. Indoor skate park, hundreds of coaches, hundreds of games, social events, vendors, seminars, clinics, activities, and so much more. Don't forget about RollerCon this summer.
And this is now your final score. It's 234 to 107. So good job by both these teams. I would say that the story here for the new skids on the block is that they were able to kind of keep adjusting and keep chipping away at that differential after they kind of had a big deficit in the beginning. I mean, I think it was something like 64-0 when we started. And then they kind of came back from that, held their ground. They didn't lose their hope, and they kind of kept scrappy and slowed those jammers down from Rose. But
I think those penalties from the jammer penalties in the first half from Rose really helped Montreal come into the game, pick up some points. But then, as we saw in the second half, it was Montreal's jammers that were giving up the power jams, and that really put a damper in their momentum, let's say.
And I would say, like, we haven't seen, you know, Rose since champs, and they showed up and they have a plan. They're executing the plan. They don't get flustered from the plan. Even during that jammer penalties, you know, spiral we saw in the beginning, they still continued to calmly execute their plan. Their blocking is locked down. They just stay calm.
Yep.
And it worked here to the same effect as the last time they played. So we'll see how they do when they play Denver tomorrow.
So you get to see the happy faces of Montreal.
It's got to feel good.
It does. It does. So this is the last game that we will be running today. But there are so many more games tomorrow.
It's true. There's lots and lots. You should definitely plan to watch roller derby your whole Sunday.
Just the whole Sunday.
Just do it.
Okay.
All right.
I'm Ribby Longstocking.
I'm October Revolution.
And we will see you tomorrow.
Have a wonderful night.
Good night.